Could you make a double circle of partners? I know with 3 and 4-year-olds, I'm the one who introduces the first concepts of question and answer. Not because we now know how to read and write a sentence, but because of various rhymes we're using. I'm using a puppet here, and this puppet asks a question and this puppet gives the answer.
I teach, as well as teaching through the medium of English, I teach through the medium of Gaelic, which is the language of Scotland, and the children in our school and many others learn their education through the medium of Gaelic.
When you are thinking about folk music, is that the music itself reflects the language and the culture of the people. And if the music reflects the language and the turns of those people, then for the children it's familiar and it's easier. So I think it's much better if we can use this traditional music, this folk music of a particular place, because the children progress more quickly. It helps them to understand the musical material because it's part of their language.
Scottish music in general for generations has been passed on by language coaches, vocal coaches. A lot of times, hundreds of years ago, this wasn't written down, it was just sang, so generations would pick up the melodies through that. So they've obviously changed over decades and hundreds of years.
All round the brickyard, remember me, we're gonna jump and jump and jump and jump and remember me.
Will you take it from me, or do you need a bit more of this? Is that enough, or do you need a bit more? All
round the brickyard, remember me, we're gonna...
The National Youth Choir of Scotland has a Kodály-based musicianship programme that we use with our NICOS area choirs. So when you come to a choir rehearsal, you'll do 30 minutes of musicianship based on Kodály principles, and then 30 minutes singing. So in that sense, an interest in musicianship, an interest in developing the ear and the inner thinking about music, the inner ear, that's very important to the work of NICOS.
I also work for the National Youth Choir of Scotland, Stirling Area Choir, where I teach pupils in primary 4 and 5 the beginnings of solfa using the Kodály methodology.
One of Kodály's key ideas was that we would use the traditional folk music of any country in the teaching. And that's important because I think the folk music, the traditional music, gives the students a sense of who they are, a sense of identity and a sense of belonging.
The Kodály idea was to either write folk style songs in Hungarian, or to use traditional existing Hungarian songs. And we've done a little bit of that, written our own kind of songs. But in the main, we have sourced these songs from all over the world.
Kodály himself went and found the best ideas, and those were the ideas that he used to put together a way of teaching. So yes, of course, I'm a teacher who uses the Kodály philosophy, but I'm also a teacher who's always looking for new ideas and ways that I can teach in a more effective way for the students.
And starting it in the junior school means you can use it all the way through, and you're all like reading from the same hymn sheet kind of thing, rather than everybody doing different things. And I think it is a really, really great method to use.
In Brisbane, where I teach in Australia, we've had a long tradition now of starting Kodály programs in the high school. And for many years now, we've been teaching our teachers how to begin with students who don't have such a big music background, to begin using this Kodály approach with them.
In the future, and as I progress as a teacher, I would like to see it introduced in all of the schools in Scotland, not just some of them, so that everybody is doing the same thing. All the opportunities that I've had through music have just been life-changing, and if I didn't have those opportunities, I never would have went to music college and trained to be a music teacher. And I just think music is very, very important.
So it's a really exciting time for traditional music. It's become very respected, and it wasn't always so, but it's much more easy to learn traditional music now in Scotland.
I would always think that the most important thing is that children grow up surrounded by music. I'm not so sure that small children need to necessarily know where the music came from or how it came. I think that might come later. I guess while I'm teaching and when I'm working in my communities, I just want the children to be surrounded by music.